than one can predict. So today, as you all are aware, the Council in its last meeting had taken a decision about taxing all the betting, gaming related activities, casinos, horse racing, online games, and therefore in the last meeting when it was all discussed, after 3 full years of the GOM having done its job, it was decided, and I'm just putting it briefly, that all of them or each one of them will be taxed at 28% on face value. Now this meeting's agenda was, having taken that decision, the enabling provisions and amendments that are to be done in the central GST law, post which the respective states will have to do their own, in such a way that sometime after a couple of months we'll be able to implement the decision of the 50th GST Council. So today the meeting had a specific agenda of what are those amendments which have to be made, their language, and to take the view of the Council. In that, the discussion went on the agenda, but equally I must say, Minister from Delhi wanted the whole thing reviewed. First, in her intervention, she said this has to be reviewed, this should be sent back to GOM, and particularly on the online gaming. The discussion went on. Then Goa and Sikkim, who have interests in casino, also felt that the decision taken last time does hurt their interests, although they are in favor of a higher taxation, because today what is prevailing there is about 18% on GGR. Now the Council's decision in the last 50th meeting was 28% on face value. So Goa felt that they are not against increasing tax, but they wanted it on the GGR, and therefore there was again Goa's appeal. And I wish to mention here that the Honorable Chief Minister of Goa as well, along with the Finance Minister, was present at the meeting, and both of them very, very clearly appealed, saying, please, can there be a relook? So that was another. And the third was, of course, Sikkim, along with Goa, wanted to have a reconsideration on casinos. Then Tamil Nadu minister wanted, because in Tamil Nadu online games are banned, they had an apprehension that if taxing at 28% is coming through, will it make what their ban has been, will it nullify it, will it undermine it, will it dilute it? So he had some apprehensions, and he had written a letter to me earlier today, much before the meeting, saying please make sure that our concern is taken on board, and so on. So all in all, today's decision to amend the CGST and the language which has to be used and the sections where the corrections have to happen have all had a discussion. Even as I said about Delhi, Goa, Sikkim, and that one particular apprehension on online gaming which is banned in Tamil Nadu, there were other ministers who felt that we've already spent too much time discussing this. 3 years is a long time, and that we should implement the decision of the 50th Council, which was taken last time, at the earliest and not delay it any further. So ministers belong to all very many state governments, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Karnataka, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Himachal, all of them felt the decision taken in the last council meeting for 28% at face value on each one of them should be implemented, and implemented at the earliest. So I've named those states which I've mentioned, that Maharashtra, Gujarat also joined in this group of states which wanted this implemented in the very same way as the decision was taken in the 50th Council and implemented sooner. So the presentation went into the details of where the amendments will have to happen, what kind of amendments will have to happen. And it was also put to the House saying, when can we start implementing this? The reason why that had to be asked was because states have to pass their own legislation subsequent to the centre. Some of the states, in fact, came out to say, we'll immediately, if in states where the sessions are going on, they said, we'll do it now. Some of them said, we'll bring an ordinance, but it has to be implemented. So the sum and substance is, of course, there was also this concern saying the decision is not unanimous. Goa, Delhi said decision is not unanimous. Both Revenue Secretary and I have reminded them that once earlier on a question of lottery, the decision was not unanimous. So yes, whilst the Council's legacy has been on a positive consensus-based decision-making, there are times, once earlier and now, where the decision is not consensus-based. So this time you have Delhi wanting online to go back to the group of ministers and therefore dissenting. Goa and Sikkim wanted a higher tax, yes, but on the GGR possibly, whilst the Council had taken in the last meeting that it should be on face value. Only with respect to casinos, that is Goa and Sikkim. And therefore, the decision to amend the CGST had these dissenting voices: Delhi on online game, casino for Goa and Sikkim, and Tamil Nadu on online games having been banned. What are your changes going to affect us like? So they wanted a language to be put in saying where the ban has happened, obviously tax cannot be levied. So on that, Revenue Secretary had agreed, saying that he will give a language in the amendment so that Tamil Nadu's ban is taken cognizance of even in the amendments. So that is where today's outcome is. The Secretariat will work together. We'll get a amendment to the CGST taken up at the earliest, hopefully even in this session. And when the question of when to implement it came, 1st October is when it is expected, by which time the states also will pass their amendments to their state laws. And because on the casino, Goa and Sikkim kept appealing, saying we are small states, we need to be given a consideration. Andhra Pradesh FM also said we should have large heart and help out small states. The Council agreed today to come back after 6 months to review the way in which this is getting implemented. When I say 6 months, it's not 6 consecutive months beginning from today. It begins from after when this gets implemented. 6 months of implementation hopefully will give us some inputs, and also we can share our experiences to see how it is going on. So the 6 months was agreed in the sense that we'll come back and review, but 6 months after implementation. So there can be a state which is going to come up with the legislation a bit later in amending. Ours, hopefully we want to pass through this session. So there can be different mileposts for different states. We are all hopeful that it gets implemented from 1st October. If it is 1st October when it gets implemented, 6 months from then, the Council can review the position. So there is one thing which rightly the Revenue Secretary is reminding me. The valuation of supply of online gaming and supply of actionable claims in casinos. I'll read that again. As regards valuation of supply of online gaming and supply of actionable claims in casinos, the Council recommended that valuation of supply of online gaming and actionable claims in casinos may be done based on the amount. This is the critical line. Valuation of supply of online gaming and actionable claims in casinos may be done based on the amount paid or payable to or deposited with the supplier by or on behalf of the player, excluding the amount entered into games, bets out of winnings of previous games and bets, and not on the total value of each bet placed. Clear?
So basically entry level.
Yes, entry, whatever they pay to get, let's say, the chips, will be the amount, but not on what they pay in each game. So one simple example that I can give you is 1,000 rupees is given, chips are taken, you go into the casino, you pay the first 100 and play. In case you win something, you've got a 300 in your hand, which means net is 1,300. That 300 doesn't get taxed. It is the 1,000 that you get yourselves taxed. Here, at the entry level. 1,000 at the entry. 1,000 meaning whatever is the amount at the entry level. Okay? Now, the other thing which I want to add here, and on which I'm sure Revenue Secretary will highlight. And the CM Meghalaya, I'm indeed very grateful to him, because today his interventions brought in a lot of the experience of the chair of the GOM. I just want to put on record so that you are familiar and all of us are familiar with what actually is prevailing today as a practice and what net it results in. 18%, please do correct, you hear, 18% GGR, which actually net results in 8 to 9% revenue only. Now, I appreciate Goa telling us, I appreciate Sikkim telling us, we are not against the rate going up. So 18% on GGR, which gives me only net 8%. With them saying 18% is okay, but you're increasing to 28%, we are not against. Assume today's 18% GGR on GGR becomes 28% on GGR. Even then, we will be collecting only around 11 to 12%. Am I right? 11 to 12%, which is not even the 18%. And 11 to 12%, I'm sorry to say, and the current collection, I'm sorry to say, are even far lesser than the tax that we levy on some of the essential goods for households. This is gaming. You're wagering on it. So on the GGR, the current reality is this. Current reality is 18% GGR, and we are talking approximate numbers. 18% GGR results in net 7 to 8% only of revenue. People are saying, okay, we don't mind 18 going to 28, but let it be on GGR. 18% going to 28% GGR will still only give me 12% and not more. So your original 18% is still not realized. So simpler alternative is 28% on the face value. And the other thing is, into a casino, will the board or will the state GST authorities have enough manpower to stand next to every roulette table and say how many people are betting, how many is won, how many people are redeploying that? There are practical difficulties also, and I'm talking about casino. So with all this in mind, and the collective wisdom of the House, it was decided that we levy 28%, which is at the moment within the GST the highest rate, on face value. So that is the decision today. If there's anything in particular, any questions, Secretary will answer. Unless you have anything in particular for me, I'll take your leave.
Very comprehensive.
Oh, we'll take up the madam has urgent meeting.
Can the Secretary answer that question, please?
Yeah.
Can I be exempted? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, please, Anchal 11.